To progress from the previous pair of tutorials where we looked primarily at adapting window layouts to suit our editing experience, and secondly we looked at replacing audio with other audio, I want to focus here now on a couple of terms that once understood will make our editing of video or audio files on our timeline much easier to appreciate. So here, let's look at how terms are used within Vegas Pro 12, and in particular at the terms files and events. As we know and are comfortable with, a file is an asset of ours on our hard drive. This asset, or file, can be a video file, or an audio file, or indeed a still image, or in fact, it can be some generated media. I'll just move over to my Generate Media tab. Now, generated media, incidentally, refers to specific Vegas created files that can be used, of course, within our project. You'll remember in the last couple of tutorials, we removed our Generate Media tab from our adapted workspace before bringing it back again. Now, we'll get to using generating media as we progress. For the moment, let's just have a quick glance at what's available. So by having my Generate Media tab open or selected, I can see all the media possibilities I can generate to be placed into my project. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure how much of this I will use during the completion of this music video, but we'll definitely use some. Well, as you can see, we have folder categories here: All, OFX, 32-bit floating point, GPU accelerated, Sony, third party, and New Blue Titler Pro. Now I'll open up the GPU accelerated folder, and there we'll see these four effects: checkerboard, noise texture, solid color, titles and text. Now if I select noise texture, well, you'll now see some presets: standard noise, standard turbulence, soft clouds, etc. I'll just move down by using the vertical scroller, and there you'll see quite a number. Let me go back up to the top. Now these aren't files on your hard drive of yours, these are artificially created media renderings you can incorporate or integrate into your project. Anyway, getting back to non-generated files now, well, these different types of files, whether it's video or audio, still image or whatever, well, these are known as objects, as Vegas calls them, that reside on your hard drive, separate to Vegas Pro 12 itself. And all I mean by that is, even without Vegas running, or indeed installed on your computer, those video files, audio files, photographs, whatever, well, they still exist on your hard drive. They aren't actually intertwined with Vegas Pro. It's only when we start Vegas that the connectivity with the program and the video or audio or photographic assets become intertwined. And therefore, it's only when we fire up Vegas that we need to be concerned with how these files or objects are both referred to and accessed. So, to reiterate, during your project creation and editing process, your files on your hard drive are not altered in any way, but rather they are made available to you via the Vegas Pro 12 Explorer window accessed from down here with this tab. Now I'll just change over to the details view rather than the thumbnail view by clicking on the drop reveal and clicking there. So once we are in Vegas, as we are here, and have the Explorer window open via its tab, then we can start to use these files in our projects, either in their entirety or in smaller sections. Remember, we'd need to place them in our Project Media tab first though. And it's at this manipulating or editing stage that we are introduced to a new term, the term being an event. Now, events are the containers that we have seen previously that once placed on the timeline can then be dropped inside this event, inside this container. And as we've seen, of course, the event container can contain the full length of a file. For example, if we simply double-click on a video file, as I have done here, let me just scroll up so we can see both the audio and the video components on our track list. Now this is the entire clip without us having trimmed it in the trimmer window. But the event container can also just contain part of the original file once we edit it in some way, probably by trimming it. Therefore, we can see then that an event is a time period container that is placed on the timeline that has all or part of the original file's duration within it. Let me run that one by you again. I'll select this file on our timeline and hit the delete key on my keyboard, and I'll do a quick save as well. So, to reiterate, if we double-click a video file, then the whole of its length of this video file is placed within the event container on our timeline. And subsequently, if we want to just place a smaller portion of this file within the event, we can do by trimming its edges prior to bringing it into the timeline by using the trimmer option, or by trimming the file's length on our timeline by clicking on either end and dragging so that it's smaller in duration than its actual size on our hard drive. And it's important to remember that about the original file on our hard drive. Just because we've reduced the size of the container, this event, well, the file is exactly the same original size on our hard drive. We haven't edited it on the drive itself. All we've done is we've made the event, or the container, smaller. So think of an event then as like a window that we can just peer through at what is on the other side of it. We can either have a window that is exactly the same size as a full-length file, or the windows of our project could be smaller, so that these events only allow us to see part of the original full length of a file. Now, I know we've talked about video events primarily throughout this tutorial, but the same principle applies to audio files too, whether they are WAV files or MP3 files. I'll show you what I mean. I'll select this file and hit the delete key, and then I'll left click and drag and drop this audio onto my timeline, and then I'll trim the start and the end. Okay, so we now have a container that is a window that allows us to partially see the audio file, but obscures our vision at the start and the end. We haven't deleted or altered in any way the original file on our hard drive. Okay, so an informational tutorial there then about terms that we do need to understand when we are building our project.